Hello friends, welcome to this basic tutorial for beginners. In this video, I will be talking about the importance of media organization and some tips to save time in the edit. In the last tutorial, I talked about basic media management and how Final Cut Pro organizes media. You can watch that video here. This time, I want to share with you how I keep my physical media organized, neat and clean in both Final Cut Pro 10 and DaVinci Resolve. It's important to keep your media organized in a way that works well for you. It makes everything easier if you take the time at the start to organize your media outside of the editing program. If something goes wrong, you know exactly where everything is, and if any problems arise, that should be much easier to fix. There are many different ways that you could organize your media. This is the method I use, so feel free to copy this method or take what you like and incorporate it into your own workflow. Let's get into it. I have already prepared everything, so I will take you through what I did step by step. Number 1. Choose your storage location and stick to that. The first thing you want to do is choose what drive you will be keeping your physical media on. As I said in the last video, I recommend a fast external SSD with plenty of space. UBS 3 is okay, but Thunderbolt is much better. Okay, open up the drive you will be using to store your media. Number 2, creating and naming your folders. Next, create a new folder and name it. I would recommend naming it with the software you are using and the current year. If you use more than one editing program, then create a folder and name it something that represents what you do. It could be your business name, your YouTube channel name, etc. I use Production 2020 for example. So as you can see, I have a DaVinci Resolve 2020 folder and a Final Cut Pro X 2020 folder inside my Production 2020 folder, as those are the two programs I use depending on the situation. The folder structure will work the same for both Final Cut Pro X and DaVinci. The only difference is how the programs read the folders in the software, whether it's bins in Resolve or keyword collections in Final Cut Pro 10. Okay, I'll open up the Final Cut Pro 10 folder. The next thing you want to do is create a single folder and name it for that year and month. As you can see here, the first folder is 2020-01. The 01 is for January. Alternatively, you can call the folder 2020 January or January 2020, but you always want to have the numbers either at the front or back so that they will be displayed in order. For example, 2020 January 01. I prefer to use just numbers because it keeps everything in order and nice and neat so I know what I'm looking at. Next, you want to copy that folder 11 more times and rename each folder to the next month. As you can see here, 2020-02 is February, 2020-03 is March, and so on. Let's open up this month's folder, which is 2020-08, August. The next thing you want to do is create a folder for each client, production, YouTube video, or whatever you are working on for that month. For example, you might have a folder called 2020 client name 08 and another folder called 2020 YouTube 08. You can create as many folders as you need to hold all your work for that month. Even if you don't finish the work that month, keep it in the month that you started the job so that you know when and where everything is. You can see I have this client folder called. Let's open it and take a look inside. Inside the folder is where you keep your project folders. If there was only one project the client gave you for that month, then you would only need one folder. But perhaps you were given a lot of small web projects, or you made a lot of YouTube videos that month. Well, this is where you will keep all of your project folders for that client. You can name the folder whatever you want, but I would suggest naming it the name of the project for obvious reasons. Let's jump in and take a look. Inside the project folder is where the magic happens. This is where you create separate folders for all your media. For example, we have audio, footage, music, stills, and so on. I even make an exports folder to keep all the finished projects. You can go as deep into the metadata and folder creation as you want. This is, for me at least, the basic structure that I would use 99% of the time. Let's open up the footage folder and take a look. Here, you can create individual folders to separate your footage. In this example, I have a folder for the main footage, which I call ACAM interview. This was a 2-camera shoot, so I created another folder for the second angle and called it BCAM interview. I created a folder for all the B-roll and another for any footage that was supplied by the client. The next step is to plug in your camera's media card and sort out all the footage into the folders they belong. You can always add things later and update inside the editing program. Taking the time to organize beforehand will make your editing much smoother and more enjoyable. All you have to do next is open up your editing program and import the project folder. And just like that, everything will be automatically sorted into keyword collections or bins. Let's jump into Final Cut Pro 10 and DaVinci Resolve and take a look at what happens when we import the project folder. The first thing you want to do after you open Final Cut Pro is create a new library for the client or project you are working on. Now, you want to save this library into the projects folder. This way, everything is together. Don't save it to a different location, as this could cause location issues later on. The next thing you want to do is edit the current event or create a new event. Name this the name of your project or client. Now, we want to import the project folder into that event. Let's do that now. As you can see, Final Cut Pro automatically separates the folders into keywords. Now all you have to do is scrub through your footage, favorite or star the footage, add new keywords or smart collections, and you are finished. Okay, let's open up DaVinci Resolve. Let's create a new project from the project manager. Click on New Project to name the project now. This will save you time later. You can click on the Untitled project to create a new project, but you will have to go through a few steps to name it later. So it's best to just click the New Project button and name it from the start. Okay, we want to do one thing before we import the project folder. Let's go to Preferences and click on Media Storage. This is where you will tell Resolve where to create the scratch disk. Basically, you are telling Resolve where to store all the rendered effects and cached clips. These files can get quite large, so I would suggest keeping it on your external SSD. Make your new folder in your DaVinci Resolve 2020 folder and name it something like DaVinci Catch. Make sure, wherever you keep the scratch disk, that it is large and fast, as DaVinci will use it a lot. Okay, next we want to make sure we are on the media page. In the upper left-hand corner is where the entire available file system is visible. You can locate your drive from there, or you can just drag and drop the project folder into the media storage browser. This way, Resolve will do it automatically for you. I would recommend dragging the project file into the favorites browser for easy navigation. As you can see, Resolve has sorted everything into folders or bins. Here, you can preview your media to decide what to keep and what to ignore. If you want to use everything, then you can just drag the project folder into the media pool. But This will dump all the media with no organization. What you want to do is drag the project folder into the media pool under the title Master. This will add all the media and use the folder structure to create bins. Alternatively, you can right-click on the project folder that you added to favorites, then go down to the third option. This option will bring all the media into the media pool and use the folder organization to create bins the same as dragging and dropping. Well, that's it for this basic tutorial. I really hope you got something useful from it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And seeing as this is YouTube, you know what to do next. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And I'll see you in the next video.